All right, so now I have my flattened file, which was before doing color separations, and now I have all these options of color steps on top. Even just with the black, it's pretty interesting. I like what it does at the edges of the poster, especially up here. So I think I want to use that, but I don't like what it does to the text. I don't like what it does to my spot illustration. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to my poster design with all its layers. And you can always go to Photoshop, File, Open Recent, and find your files. And now on top of all of this, on the very top layer, I'm going to bring in these CMYK seps. They should be the right size now. And I'm going to move them into place while they're all selected so they all move together. They should kind of lock in. Right? I might even put them in their own folder. Call them CMYK seps. I'll put them all to normal again. Actually, no, I like that. So overlay for magenta and soft light for cyan. But anyway, now I can move that folder down through my different layers. Let's see, my offset's quite a bit off there. I think I accidentally jiggled it. There we go. Okay, now I can take that whole folder, move it down with Command left bracket, or just drag and drop. But I can move it down through my layers. Let's see. So the first thing, I want it to go, let's close my different folders. First thing is I want it to go underneath my text, right? Though honestly, I like it on the Nikomon part. So yeah, this could be interesting. So let's start moving it down. I want it above Nikomon, but underneath the Gotta Teach Them All. See that? Okay, and then I also want my spot illustration to be above it, so I'm going to move my spot illustration up above my text layer so that it's not affected by all the dots, but everything else is. And then I can turn that folder of my dots off and on and see if I think it helps. Uh-oh, I accidentally put that text in that layer. Let me move that out. So there's a lot of layer organization here going on. And I think it does help. Helps define the edges a little bit better. It's a little bit off here though. So let me see which. The yellow layer is a little off. The magenta layer. Pretty much right on. The blue though, oh yeah, they're all a little off. So let me just nudge it a little, since I'm using it for the text primarily. Make sure that that's right on. Yeah, those look good. All right, now if I wanted to, this is the great thing about having folders, I can take my spot illustration and all the different coloring and vectors and things involved in that, and I could just take its overall opacity down a tiny bit, just to let some of these dots come through. Just a little bit in the coloring. You see that? That's kind of nice. But I don't want it to happen on the line work. So then what I can do is I can take just the vector line work and the color holds, all the vectors within my spot illustration, and I can move those up and out. of the spot illustration folder. And then I can set them, then they'll be at 100% opacity again. So nicely contained. And the color holds still there. But I lost my special effects. So I want to bring those out as well. Up on top. So this is all fine-tuning. To get to your finished design. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with that. I could take just the, we're playing around with over-designing here. I could take the CMYK steps and I could even mess with their colors a little bit. So if I think it's too purple, I can take my cyan layer and I can adjust its hue. Make it a little bit less on the purple side. You can even make it less saturated if I think it's too colorful, or more saturated. I can brighten it, I can darken it. And that's just the cyan dots. I can do that with magenta as well. Hue saturation is a very powerful adjustment. I'm going to darken them a little bit. All right, so let's see if I like that better. These subtle shifts, and I do. I like that a little bit better. Okay, so let me save that. So that's with the dots, that's without the dots. So it's just subtle, gives it a little bit of something interesting. I even like how the spirals are now working through really subtly through the armor and the flat coloring. It gives just a slight texture to everything. Okay, now I've saved it. It's ready. Now how do I just completely over-design it? Make it like the Japanese one, with lots of color and craziness. Well, the easiest way to over-design and to have fun with posters this way is through texture overlays. So I pulled a few really crazy texture overlays that is found online. One is called Sparkles. I think I looked up like sparkly starlight or something. And this is just nutty. Like way over the top. But it's got those different colors, all that stuff's going on. Maybe I'll flip it horizontally. Maybe I'll rotate it and grow it even more. There's just a ton in there. Let's rotate it this way and then grow it, fill the screen. It's just a texture overlay. Now I can set it to overlay mode. That's too strong. Soft light. That's too weak. Pin light. That's about what I want. Let's take the opacity down. And now let's move it down through the layers. All right, now it's going down through the color separations. That's interesting. And there, that gives me like all these kind of bright swirls, excitement that maybe I want, maybe I don't want as an overlay. That looks pretty over-designed. So I think I want the text still to pop out pretty cleanly. I don't know. That's a hard one. I could try different blending modes here as well. See what vivid light would do. Then I could bring back in my kind of cloudy texture. We're over-designing. Where is it? There it is. And here we have an over-designed version with little starbursts and explosions and dot screens and lots and lots and lots to look at. So that's kind of good for the elementary school wall. This is more for the high school wall with the whole cloudiness still, and then this is for the refined taste of a college student, and then maybe we get simpler still and do away with the color separations for a sober adult. So all of those options are built into the file. I'll go ahead and turn them all back on and save it with the sparkles and everything. All right. So once it's saved as a Photoshop file with all these options for you to mess with and continue to play with, remember there's no risk because this is a vector, this is a vector, this is a vector outline with coloring behind it. You could make it any resolution you want and all of those things will look good. And you can always swap in and composite different backgrounds. Now we're going to save it as a JPEG once it's saved as a PSD. This is a massive file. So when we save it as a JPEG, we're going to have to reduce the quality quite a bit just to keep it under 5 megabytes because it's almost 2 gigabytes now with all these changes. So I say File, Save As, JPEG, to the desktop, Carl, Assignment 8, full color poster design. And then with the preview, I want it to be just under or just at 5 megabytes to go up to PhotoBucket easily. So what do we need to upload for Assignment 8? You need to upload your finished poster. You can upload multiple versions of it if you like. I might do that quick, where I take the sparkles in and out, take the cloud in and out. Because like I said, we're safe over designing with digital. So I can save this as an alternate. It's Alt-1 to the desktop as a JPEG. And then the only other things you need to upload are your black and white text treatment and your color text treatment, just as PNGs, just like you did with your logos. And then the last version I'll save is without the color separations.